Waiting for confirmation. Just waiting. Okay. I believe we are live, sir. Headphones on.
I was having a drink.
Oh, okay. Well, that's all right. Busted. All right. So you hear me okay?
I hear you. Do you hear me?
I do. All right. Let's jump in, my friend.
I'm ready.
Welcome to Just Curious Media. This is Let's Talk Cobra Kai. I'm Jason Connell.
And I'm Sal Rodriguez.
All right, Sal, we are back for another episode of Cobra Kai. Can you believe it?
I can, but to be honest, I really wish I could watch each episode once a week. I really do. Because you know why? I want to keep the suspense for 10 weeks. You know what I mean? I'd love to be in that state of suspense for over 2 months.
Wait, do our fans know that you broke the seal and you went binge mode?
Well, because I wanted to do once a week, but then after a couple of weeks, I realized this is not really possible.
You're
practical.
Sal Rodriguez. You can't have that much restraint. It's impossible.
No, that's not it. It's because everywhere I go, I'm going to find spoilers. There's going to be landmines everywhere I go. I'm already seeing spoilers on who came out later in the season. So you know what? It's just not realistic.
You had to do it. You got to do it. Yeah.
It's the era that we're in. We are in the binge era.
Yep. Well, of course, we are back to do episode 3 of season 4. Then Learn Fly. Great title, great episode, let me say. Before we get started, because there's a lot to unpack here, how about a word from our sponsor?
Let's do it.
Support for Let's Talk Cobra Kai is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming and offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Join over 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped. And with this exclusive offer, you'll get
20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code cobrakai at manscaped.com.
Wonderful, Sal. Great job. And an incredible gift. I hope people take advantage.
Well, Jason, since we're talking, may I just share with you, I did something I didn't know would happen.
Over Manscaped.
Well, yes. You know what? I went guard free. And you know what? No problems.
No problems.
No nicks at all. A fantastic experience.
You really put the lawnmower to its test.
I did. I was hesitant. I was reluctant. I was cautious. But after a while, it was smooth sailing. And I'm happy to announce Lawnmower 4.0 by Manscaped. I took care of myself, guard free, nick and cut free.
Wow. Fantastic, Sal. Okay. So Cobra Kai brought to you by Netflix. As always, the entire season dropped on December 31st, 2021. This is season 4, episode 3, Then Learn Fly. The IMDb rating, Sal, 8.2. I'm not going to get caught up on that. They're bouncing around 8.4, 8.2. I think this was an incredible episode with some great moments that, every few episodes, I think they're all great. First of all, they're all great. But every once in a while you go like episode, it's like, ooh, some big reveals, character arcs. And this is one of those episodes for me.
Yeah. And I like that right away we see a lot of people facing off that we've never seen face off.
Exactly.
See people spar we never saw spar before.
I know a lot. I'm glad I watched this thing again. I'm getting to go back again immediately for notes. And it's like, oh my gosh, all over again. Well, the synopsis for this episode is Kenny tries to become a student of Cobra Kai with some encouragement from Robby, while Johnny urges Sam to take a leap of faith in herself. Nice setup. I like that.
Yeah. I like these synopsi. I wonder who writes these. I want to know.
Well, I'm sure Netflix has a team, and then you go on IMDb and then, there's always a synopsis on there. You have to submit it there. So I'm assuming it comes from Netflix or the showrunners or something.
I was going to say,
I should say, I'm sorry, but the showrunners are probably doing it, or the script, supervisors or script writers, but they do a good job. It's right on point.
It's a talent.
Yeah. So now our scene by scene breakdown. Sal, here we go. Are you ready?
I'm big time ready, man.
Oh, okay. Making sure. So we open at Miyagi-Do in the wooden sparring ring that was recently built. And it's a training montage. And Sal, I don't know if you recognize this song, but a younger Jason Connell absolutely did.
Oh, yeah.
Two Heads Are Better Than One by Power Tool. Why do I know this? Because it was in the Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure film, as well as the soundtrack, which I had. I worked at the Annex 7 movie theater in high school when that movie came out, and I was an early adopter to Bill and Ted's.
Wow.
I even got that huge cardboard standee. It's like them in the phone booth with everybody. The theater manager's like, yeah, take it, Jason. So I had this ridiculous standee in my room in high school for a little while. So love the song. Couldn't believe it. And it's just so perfect for this scene, Sal.
Well, Jason, I want you to know that there are absolutely, as we speak, Bill and Ted's action figures on the shelves at your local Targets and Walmarts right now. So,
well, because they put a movie out recently.
Well, here we are.
Like
Nostalgia is king.
Yeah. I love it. Well, it's a great scene, a ton going on.
Yeah.
Like you said, this episode's full of people sparring. We have not seen spar, and Miyagi-Do is really turning a corner here in a good way. And I should also say Eagle Fang as well.
Yes, everything's going great right now. I always like to point that out, because as we've all learned, when everything's going great, there's only one place to go from there.
Sal, I even love the sushi bologna lunch share that Johnny and Daniel are doing. It's great. They're getting along, and of course, we love that. We want to see these guys work.
Well, I'm big on chopsticks. I love chopsticks. In fact, at one time I had up to 3 sets of chopsticks.
Oh, I've got
what? You have more than 3 sets of chopsticks?
We've got drawers full.
Nice.
Just in case. Well, it's funny that when I watch the scene, it's like, of course, Daniel's having the sushi, right? And Johnny's a man of bologna. But think back to Karate Kid 1. Daniel was the one having bologna, and sushi was like something not even on his radar yet. So it's so funny how far we've come.
Well, also specifically look like, I think what's called gyoza.
Yeah.
Right. It was like a piece of gyoza, and Johnny just grabs it with his hand. Like,
I got
does that mean he doesn't know how to use a chopstick? Is that what that means?
We're not even going to go there, because I think he was going to he was using them as spears last season. Remember
when he was with Miguel?
Miguel, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So of course, then there's like fist bumps, which is cool. Love it. Handshake, fist bumps, and then Johnny's van, Sal, looks a little different.
That van is major cool. We have not seen this before, right?
No, I think it was the first reveal. And then when they show it, if I'm also not mistaken, it's the same sound effect for Hawk. When Hawk would make an entrance, the bird screeching. Now we get that for the Eagle Fang van, which is just hilarious.
Yeah, I'm really loving this van, and I kind of wish they spent a little more time on this. I would like to see. Remember when Johnny did his? Well, remember when Johnny first Cobra Kai'd the other car that he got from LaRusso Auto Group?
Oh my gosh,
right?
Top notch on that one.
We got to see that, right? We got to see it happen. There was even a little montage sequence of them, pimping the car out.
You think
I'd like to see that for this van?
You think Johnny regrets leaving that in Malibu and just walking off? Because he could have just given it a whole new look and the Eagle Fang treatment and taken the Cobra Kai out of it. That was a great ride.
I'm thinking at this point in time, he would have a regret right now. Yeah. But there was, look where he was at that moment. Just
he was
very lost
in the pits. So now we're at LaRusso's home, and it's dinner with Johnny, Carmen, and Miguel. But Sal, they all drove separately. Well, not they all, I should say. Johnny drove himself. Carmen and Miguel met them there. And why is that?
Well, Jason, first of all, I'm impressed by this pizza oven.
Oh, I was going to say, we were talking about that tonight. We went to go pick up some pizza, and I was like, the LaRussos have one of these. So I'm with you, dude. I swear I said that tonight.
I mean, I think that's a sign that you've made it, right? You got a nice pizza oven at your place. And he's giving Johnny a hard time. He's like, you sure you got enough meat on this pizza there, Johnny? And then Johnny says, that's 4 different animals on top. That's a man's pizza.
Oh, yeah.
And I must say, I'm kind of spiritually a vegetarian, not physically, but spiritually. But when I have a pizza, I like it packed. I like a packed supreme pizza. I really do.
Yeah. But what's going on with the separate cars?
Yeah. Well, what's going on is that Carmen decided to take a step back.
And And I love how they're all still going to go to dinner, but it's like, yeah, it's that little thing. It's the subtleties. Well, we'll both drive separately and, not confuse Miguel. So that's going on, which is not easy, Sal.
It's kind of sad though, because Miguel's the only one in the dark then, right now, right? Everybody else knows except for Miguel.
Exactly. And then this leads to, love it, Sal, the showdown between Johnny and Anthony, just continuing from previous seasons. They just go at it perfectly, like two siblings.
That was fantastic, because the first thing Anthony says is, "What the hell are you doing here?"
Yeah, because he's like, well, "Who are you?"
Nobody told Anthony that
Johnny
was coming. Yeah, nobody said anything.
No. But then Johnny doesn't recognize him. He's not seen Anthony in forever. So I love how they just went with that. That's the obvious expression. Who the hell are you? Love it. They're right on cue. Haven't missed a beat.
Wait, Jason. I like when Johnny says, "Wait, are you the son?"
Yeah, exactly. The son.
Yeah, it's like so impersonal.
The son. Yeah, this guy. So now we're at dinner, and this is great. Amanda starts to share about how Sam was nearly born on the showroom floor at LaRusso Auto. Sal, I thought they were going to go back a little further on that one. If you say
conceived.
That's what I really thought that was going to come out of her mouth for a half second.
Yeah. Well, that would have been inappropriate at the dinner table, but yeah, I did think that myself.
Or start to say it and not go there. But yeah. So basically, then Daniel starts to kind of share Sam's future, which is weird. She's just sitting there going, "Oh, that's weird." He's like, NBA, USC, UCLA, but you can do whatever you want.
Yeah. No pressure, right?
No pressure. And Miguel's taking this in like, "Oh my gosh, I'm dating this girl. And what am I? What have I got going on? I don't have a father. I got no future." You can just tell this whole episode and really much of the season, but he's just introspective about this, but he's a little nervous. He's a little jumpy. And what happens?
Well, he's nervous. He's shaken up. He wants to go to Stanford, right? But he's probably going to have to end up going to Santa Monica College.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with Santa Monica College, but if you had to choose between Stanford or Santa Monica College, right? There you go. So yeah, I guess out of he just being flustered or ashamed or embarrassed, Miguel spills wine on Daniel. He knocks his wine glass over.
Knocks Daniel's own wine on him.
That
but
was
Daniel's
weird.
Really cool about it, I gotta say.
It's no big deal to Daniel, really.
No.
But hang on, you know what I noticed? I think, yes, Miguel spilled wine on Daniel, and then Miguel feels terrible about it. You see the shame on his face.
Yep.
But you know what I noticed when this scene is over? Nobody talks to Anthony or asks about Anthony.
Yeah.
They talk about Sam. They talk about Miguel. Nobody talks about Anthony, and Anthony's sitting right there, and he's a LaRusso.
It's true. You know what? So I'm not going to complain because at least Anthony's now making appearances again and getting some character development. So hey, come on.
Believe me, I'm happy for the screen time. I am.
Yeah. He's off at camp. He's at his grandparents' house. Like he is now a part of the show.
And his hair is fantastic, by the way.
Fantastic.
He's got a wonderful head of hair. I'm so envious.
So now it's an aerial Malibu shot, Sal. Love these. Silver's home. And he's got the Tokyo stock market. He's just taking it in. And the chef comes out with I believe it's creme brulee for breakfast. It looks like creme brulee.
I know. You know what?
Sure.
Honestly, I think you're right, but I didn't know that until right now when you said it. Yeah, you're right.
Because I was like, wait, that makes sense. But he had some sort of surprise for him.
A vegan or vegetarian? Are we assuming if Terry dines alone, is he a vegan or vegetarian? Because if that's his breakfast, that's what that implies.
Yeah, perhaps. But before he gets started on this scrumptious looking breakfast, what happens?
Oh man, he has a Vietnam flashback because the chef is trying to light the creme brulee.
Because they do sort of.
There's sort of a trigger, right, on the lighter, like a trigger lighter.
Because they usually burn the top and the sugar and all that stuff and hardens it up. But you're right, he can't get the lighter to activate. And it's a cool sound. I mean, it does sound like a gun,
It triggers the PTSD.
And it really reminded me of The Deer Hunter. I know we've talked about this in the past, which I don't think you've seen or haven't seen in a long time. But for those who haven't seen it, go see that incredible movie. But there's this whole Russian roulette thing with POWs. And so there's a lot of like empty chambers, and it sounds just like this. But of course, it takes Terry back to Vietnam, all that's happening when Kreese saves him, but it's immediate, man. It's PTSD, and Terry's in that moment, and the chef can't even get him out of that moment.
Yeah. And the chef says something I found interesting. I don't know if it was a tell or a foreshadow, as they say. You notice the chef says, should I call the doctor?
Yeah.
He doesn't say a doctor.
Yeah. The doctor.
Yes. Okay. I'm thinking
you mean
that
the good doctor, maybe?
Is that what's her name? What's that lady's name?
Oh no, I just meant like the good doctor is usually some pills.
Oh, okay. Like running for the shelter of her mother's little helper.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm thinking that there may be
that
some
could
sort
be
of
something.
health,
It's a good point.
There may be a health issue with Terry Silver looming, which we may have
You heard it here first.
By the way,
Rodriguez, drop that one.
I don't want this.
Yeah.
I don't want this. I don't want Terry Silver to go out with a health condition. You know what I mean? So hopefully that's not the case. But I do think that was interesting that the chef said that.
Very much. But there's some moments where Terry is, when he's still in that state before the chef gets him out of it. And what is he saying in this kind of flashback sequence?
Terry remembers the promise that he made to John Kreese, where he says, I owe you, man. You saved my ass. Anything you need, I'm there for you. Your whole life. You hear me, Johnny? Your whole life. And he's saying this to him right outside of the POW cage, right before they get rescued by U.S. forces.
Yeah.
It's a vulnerable moment, and you may say something you may later regret in your life.
Yeah. It is a little confusing to hear the word Johnny used for Kreese a lot, but just, as long as we keep our story straight, but come on. I hear him say Johnny, I'm like, Lawrence, but anyway, so interesting scene. Definitely this episode's going somewhere. Terry Silver has Kreese has his hooks in Silver again. We'll come back to that. So now we're at Cobra Kai, and Kenny enters, and he seeks Robby. Now Robby doesn't know Kenny, but Robby does know Sean.
Yeah, but and I like, Jason, how when Kenny walks in and he looks at the words on the wall, fear does not exist in this dojo. He looks right at it.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah,
I'm in the right spot.
Yeah. I think that's a good thing for him to read.
Yeah, but I am a little surprised, Sal. I gotta say that Sean, who we know from the juvenile detention center, who is tough, and Robby even said he's kicked his own butt twice, a couple of times, that his own brother Sean hasn't toughened Kenny up at all to this point. Just a little like, that's interesting, but it hasn't happened.
No, well, Kreese invites Kenny onto the mat. He says, you have to prove that you're worthy. And Kenny says, how do I do that? He says, take off your shoes and get on the mat. So he this is like a hazing, right?
Yeah.
In gang life, this is jumping someone in.
Yeah.
As I've said before, in the end, or many times, you can probably refer to Miyagi-Do and Cobra Kai or Eagle Fang as actual gangs that just happen to know karate. You know what I mean?
Right. But that scene is a couple beats away. It kind of stops there because we cut back and forth to Cobra Kai quite often.
Oh, it's a back and forth.
Yeah. So now we're at Miyagi-Do, and Hawk calls Miguel El Serpiente. I guess that means snake. Is that what that means?
I like that. And remember that, because
really
I'm going to refer to that later. Yeah. Remember El Serpiente.
El Serpiente.
So, and that's good though. So you know what? Hawk has Miguel's back. He supports him.
Yeah, absolutely. And he even says, all Valley champ. I mean, you're all Valley champ. So Sal, it's almost like American Express. Membership has its privileges. If you're an all Valley champ, it's like, that's, come on. He's a one-timer, but that means something. And Hawk does have his back. You're absolutely right. And this leads to Daniel's lesson, Sal. And what is that exactly?
Daniel tells his students to catch the koi fish. I say koi because they're there at Miyagi-Do. It's got a Zen background.
They're around the platform, the balance platform.
These are not salmon. You know, these are the koi that you would see in a beautiful Zen garden or martial arts garden. And he challenges them to catch a fish with their bare hands.
Yeah. Poor koi, first of all.
And of course you think this has got to be impossible. You're not going to be able to do this.
And they're all like bent over trying to do it. And of course, Miguel falls in the water, right? These koi are moving fast and they don't know what they're doing. And so I wonder, is Daniel is he going off of an old Miyagi training book somewhere we don't know? Like he's coming up with some really interesting things, as is Johnny, by the way. But Daniel in particular is really keeping up the Miyagi-Do spirit, like, oh, I have them do this. And he's seeing like 5 steps down the road what this could, how this could translate. So very interesting. I'm kind of impressed with Daniel here.
Well,
Not
right
kind
here,
of, I am actually.
no, Jason, he embodies Miyagi here
Absolutely.
by saying, looks like you're a little wet behind the ears.
Oh, totally. Yeah,
which is what Miyagi said to him.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Spot on. Absolutely. Well, speaking of Johnny, we cut to a stairwell. We're not sure where we're at, but Johnny's going up. Students are going up.
Mm-hmm.
And on the way up, Sal, Dimitri, the king of one line, him and Amanda, right? Battling for great lines. And why don't you tell us what Dimitri has to say on the way up?
Well, this was pretty funny. Dimitri says, I heard he drowned a kid in a pool trying to teach him how to kick. And that was before he sicked a rabid dog on Eli. So that's recalling the junkyard dog incident. But then also when Miguel was tied at the legs and thrown into the pool.
Yeah.
Right.
But
like now it's urban folklore.
Game, yeah, it's like that game Gossip. Now it's like it used to be Miguel, but now the kid, he drowned.
Just some kid, right?
Some random kid. That's so good. So they finally make it to the rooftop, and what do we learn up here? Because we saw some of this from the trailer. Now we're kind of catching up with ourselves. But what do we learn?
Well, one thing I want to say, Jason, is that this takes place in the San Fernando Valley, either directly or indirectly.
Yeah. Inspired by.
Okay. I don't know where these buildings were. I don't know what this is trying to replicate.
It could be Woodland Hills,
Okay. There are some tall buildings. There are a few tall buildings.
But they're not abandoned.
Okay, yeah. So wherever these buildings were, I don't think they were in the San Fernando Valley or anywhere near Reseda.
Yeah,
I don't think
Atlanta. But what do we learn? What is Johnny up to?
Wait, hang on. I love how Dimitri uses Nate as a system of measurement. He says, hey, that building's like 5 Nates away and we're at least 14 Nates high. And Nate says, please don't use me as a system of measurement.
I didn't know what he meant at first. I was like, I even started to look up Nate, and then Nate chimed in. I was like, oh my gosh, that's brilliant. Yeah. It's like how you measure a horse with hands, but we're measuring with Nates. Well, essentially, Johnny takes them up on this rooftop to jump across to another rooftop. So maybe that's, I don't know, Sal, 5-6 feet, but you're going to drop several floors, and all there are is these old mattresses sort of laying on the ground, sort of kind of on top of one another ish. So yeah, that's the plan. And everyone's like, listen, I'm afraid of heights, Sal. Now I'm an athlete. I could probably make the jump, but you put that scenario there, I'm opting out.
Really? You're afraid of heights, eh?
I am afraid of heights.
Like you go up in
sharks and heights.
Like have you gone up into like the Empire State Building or anything like that?
Several. I feel safe on the Empire State Building. I've been up there countless times.
Yeah.
But when I was up in the Sears Tower, the last couple of times, they have those glass boxes now where you can stand out in this glass.
Oh, you can go out. Yeah.
I can't do it. I freeze up. I just lock up.
Well,
I don't want to see
other daredevil
people.
Thing right there.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's just as a normal. That's not just you standing normally in a building. That's like some sort of little daredevil gimmick, right?
That's where I just get turned off, like I'm a robot. I can't function. But anyway, really funny scene. And then, kind of alluding to the episode name, Johnny says, if you want to be an eagle, first you got to learn how to fly.
Yeah, I like that.
And he means it. And he's got his own kind of daredevil techniques, as we know, a little different than Daniel's style, I would say.
Well, of course, but
more medieval.
I'm also surprised that not Johnny nor any students invoked the word parkour. He was sort of teaching them parkour.
Yeah. They might want to start with something simpler.
Jump over this rail.
Yeah. So essentially, Sal, no takers.
No. Sam
not
says
yet.
we're not jumping. We're not jumping.
So now we're back at Cobra Kai because we are ping-ponging back and forth.
Yes.
Kreese now invites Kenny on the mat
to
face Kyler.
Yeah, what an odd choice. It's like
not get someone else small. Let's go straight Kyler.
No, not a newbie.
No,
to handle. No, yeah, some experienced older guy. Yeah, let's get him. That makes sense.
And Sal, what do we learn a Cobra Kai must have or must be? What's one thing that I don't think we've ever heard this before, but Kreese shares it here.
About what he says, what you need to be a Cobra Kai.
Yes.
You know what? I didn't put that in my notes.
Killer instinct.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, I've never heard him say that. There's all these other sayings, but I like that killer instinct. Didn't know that was on the hit list. It's not on a mural. It's not on the wall.
Hang on. Do parents know that their kids are being taught this?
No. Oh yeah, you learned a killer instinct today, and strike first, no mercy. Yeah, no. But anyway,
Jason, I was surprised to learn that Kyler's last name is Park. Did we know that?
Yeah, it's come up before.
We did know that. Okay, I forgot about that. Kyler Park. Okay.
But anyway, when Kenny gets out there to face Kyler, what happens?
Well, he runs off twice.
Yeah.
He runs off terrified off the mat twice. Not good.
Yeah, Kyler doesn't even hit him. He just kind of comes at him, almost like Trooper flinching, and then he backs up. And
because he didn't try to. Not only did he not even try to defend. I mean, okay, he's not going to attack. Fine. He didn't try to defend. He just ran off. Is what he did.
Back to my point about not having any sort of training with someone like Sean as your older brother. Yeah. But anyway, more to come on that as well.
Well, Jason Kreese says to him, the All Valley is just a few short months away. Yeah. We don't have time for losers or cowards.
Yeah.
Basically kicks Kenny out.
We don't have time for this. We're training. Yeah. Time is valuable.
Yeah.
So now we're back at Miyagi-Do, and no one caught a koi. Big surprise. But Mitch touched Gil, which is funny.
I missed that.
I touched Gil. And then Hawks wants to kind of take everyone to go practice at a restaurant that's got tons of koi. Yeah, that's a good idea.
They're going to be like reaching and grabbing lobster.
Don't mind us. We're picking our koi out for tonight. And then a lot's happening in the scene. And then Carmen calls Miguel, and she's got car trouble. And Daniel, being Daniel, and also owning lots of auto dealerships, he wants to help.
Well, doesn't he refer to tow truck drivers as jackals?
Yeah, he's like, no, I know what they'll charge. Let me help. And Miguel's being very prideful. He knows that Daniel's doing a ton, and he's also dating his daughter. So you don't want, you're just trying to like, no, I got this. But Daniel insists, and he's gonna get, Carmen a tow truck. Yeah. But I also noticed something, Sal, when Daniel went to lock up at Miyagi-Do. I just was like, I've seen it before, but I just, popped out in my head this time. He just closes the little shh. We're out. So Miyagi-Do has no locks, essentially, is what I'm trying to say here.
I hope that they have a
honor
security
system.
I hope that they have contacts. They have security contacts.
Like
as soon as the contact is broken.
Yeah, that's it.
Then
maybe that's it. And there's probably like a camera, like a Nest or something.
But easy to break into, unfortunately.
Yeah, our Ring camera, whatever. But I just thought that was pretty funny. And so now we're back on the rooftop. Right, because not much happens thus far, and Johnny talks to Sam. And I really like this scene, Sal. These are some of those pivotal moments in the episode. I was like, wow, this is really good, because how often do they really go back and forth? They don't really have a relationship at all.
Never. We've never seen this exchange.
Have they ever had
a
scene like this? No.
I don't think so. Nope.
But they begin to dig up the past, the Firebird, being drunk. I mean, they're kind of going back and forth, and then Sam says. She really puts it out there. You're a 50-something-year-old man who lives alone, drinks all day, and clearly hasn't figured out his own life.
Wow.
She threw down the gauntlet, Sal.
You know what that reminds me of, Jason? When I used to be a big brother and I had a little brother.
Yep.
Yes. Well, one day we're hanging out. Everything's fine, I thought. And my little brother says, hey, Sal, you need teeth whitening.
And you said?
Excursion over.
That's it. Back to the house.
Well, my point is when a kid says something, it's just like zero filter. It's like mother-in-law, zero filter. They're going to tell it like it is, and it might hurt.
So why don't you take what Johnny says, his comeback to Sam?
Yep. He responds to Sam. If I did everything my parents wanted me to do, I'd be wearing a suit and tie in some worthless job while I wait out the clock. But I didn't want that. And now I get to do what I love every damn day. I get to try to help kids like you find their own way. If you want to sit in the back seat your whole life, go right ahead. It's no sweat off my back. Wow.
It's
just
really,
straight up challenging
really
Sam. Just straight up challenge.
And I like the way they kept cutting back to her, or when they did come back to her, it was really resonating with her. Like she thought she knew Johnny, but there's something more there and something she respects.
Well,
And
you know
that-
what, Jason, this is crazy. Sam is resonating more with Eagle Fang than
I
with
know.
Miyagi-Do.
I know.
Oh,
right?
wow. That's crazy.
Well, when you learn one thing your whole life, something new is interesting, tantalizing, right?
Mhm.
She only knows Miyagi-Do
Yep.
and Mr. Miyagi and loves it. But here's something like, oh, I'm evolving, I'm changing. Maybe I want to know everything.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. Sure.
And a lot of that's going on, but this scene really good. And you did a pretty good Johnny there, I gotta say.
I wanted to channel Johnny.
Yeah,
is what I
yeah.
wanted.
It was like if I closed my eyes, I could hear him just a little bit in there.
Well, you know why, Jason, since we're sharing, because I wanted to channel Johnny there on the rooftop because heights I have no fear of heights. You know what my fear of? I'm gonna tell you, since it's just you and I sharing,
Yeah, just us.
just the two of us. What is it?
Midgets.
Boxton. What is it? Claustrophobia. There we go.
Oh yes.
Claustrophobia.
Yeah.
I have been in a tour shuttle, like a tour bus, and like demand to be let off right now because the claustrophobia is happening. So
yeah,
heights are not my thing. Do not get me stuck somewhere covered up, boxed in. It's over.
I was actually channeling Michael Myers there when he said, midgets, small hands, smell like cabbage. I was just going back to like old Mike Myers stuff there. So I have no discrimination here. So now we're back at Cobra Kai. And Sal, quickly on this, we've mentioned this a few episodes this season thus far, but Tori wearing Converse, Kyler has Adidas, and he wants her to go join him to stand in line to buy some Nikes, and she'd look good in Nike Dunks. I'm telling you, product placement is at an all-time high this season.
Oh yeah. They must be getting. They must have lots of revenue coming in from ads, and
I
hey,
would hope.
good for them.
Good for them.
Very excited and happy. Very excited.
So as the students leave, because class was just winding down, who enters the dojo?
Oh, wow. Terry Silver walks in, and the first thing he says, "Turn around, you son of a bitch." Which, by the way, I think is an interesting thing to say to a man whose mother committed suicide. Kind of dark. Sorry to darken the tone.
I like to say that every time I step into a dojo as well.
Say that to your sensei. But right now we learn, Jason, that Kreese has gotten into Terry Silver's head.
Oh, well, we saw it happening in the first episode. It was just creeping in there. Yeah, this is a great scene. And Kreese also says in the midst of this, because they're going back and forth, it's like Silver shows up, but he doesn't want to. Like everything in his being, he's having just an internal struggle. I don't want to go. I gotta go. I don't want to go. I got to see what this is. So you can tell, like, even if Kreese wasn't there, he'd just be there. Silver's just kind of stuck.
Yeah.
And in the midst of it, again, I know you fall for this because you fall for Kreese all the time. Kreese says, "There's no one in the world I trust more than you." And so in this moment, he might mean that though, for Silver. He may actually mean it, but still it's Kreese. He's got ulterior motives. And I don't trust this guy at all.
Imagine if Kreese used his powers of persuasion for good.
Yeah. The world would be a better place.
But man, he's good. And yes, I do forget. I forget about the kind of person that Kreese is. And think about how good you have to be to manipulate someone like Terry Silver.
Absolutely.
I mean, think about what we know about Terry Silver in the world of Karate Kid, but imagine what Terry Silver has been going through in the world of business, right? In the world of relationships, obviously real estate. Who knows how many homes he's bought and sold. And who knows how many lawsuits he's been involved in. He's, in other words, he's been around the block, right? He's not a new jack.
No.
And yet Kreese can get to him.
And then we see what we saw in the trailer. Shoes come off, loafers come off, no socks. And Silver's got those moves. He still looks like a karate sensei, Sal.
Yeah, he looks great. He delivers a back, some sort of spinning back kick.
It's like a front kick and a couple hits and like stops like an uppercut right beneath Kreese's jaw. What do we want to go back to the type of jaw that is, Sal?
what type of jaw was that? That European jaw?
We won't revisit that. We did a lot on that episode.
That's funny.
But really great scene. We end it there and we're at Kenny's house, of course. because we have been at Kenny's house a few times in this season. There's a knock on the door, and we learn, well, it's Robby, but
Yep.
Robby shares his backpack because he took off so fast and left his backpack. And he, Kenny's like, how do you know where I live? Unveils the address, and that is 1623 Otsego Street, Encino, California, 91436.
Yeah.
House doesn't exist, Sal, but the
No.
block does. If you add an 8 in there,
Yes.
16823, you got a house on Zillow.
Thank
But
you.
still, I like the fact that they put it in Encino. They kept it real. They put him in Encino.
Well, no, that's
nicer
what I'm
home.
talking. It's okay. If it is that house, minus the digit 8.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's nearly a $1,400,000 home.
Yeah. Right.
1,700 square feet, quite respectable, quite nice. Would probably be less somewhere else in the country, but in Encino, a nice place, a very nice, respectable, I would say upper middle class home.
Absolutely. Well, as Robby arrives, they have an exchange, and he basically tells him he can't be his tutor, his karate tutor. But then timing's everything, Sal. An alert on the phone. There's a viral video.
Oh.
And this is something, so I don't even understand how it was possible. Please tell us what we're seeing.
There's a viral video that shows Kenny walking up to his locker at school, opening up the locker, and all of a sudden, gallons and gallons of milk just come down. And then all of a sudden, across the screen, got milked. So it's like some sort of probably
happen?
A viral gag. No, I don't know how they did that. That took some skill.
How did Anthony and his crew do that?
You know what? You surely have to have had the locker closed, somehow sealed off, and then pour the milk in. You know what? That trumps the old Daniel LaRusso when he was a shower with the water hose over Johnny at the Halloween dance. That's nothing compared to a prank like this.
Absolutely. Well, Robby sees that, takes mercy on Kenny, takes him in the backyard, and trains him a little bit, and realizes, he is scared. How are we going to, he doesn't even defend himself. Like you said earlier, nothing. He's just so terrified, but he's got one thing, Sal. He's got one asset. And what is that?
Well, going back to his screen name, Kenny the Jet. He is fast. We learn that he is fast. And that's when Robby says to him, instead of using your speed to run away from your enemies, use it to run at them.
Yep.
So Robby sees how he can use his, well, I'm not going to say it, but his new student, right?
Mm-hmm.
How he can use his new student's gifts for his benefit.
Look at Robby learning on the job. Look
you
at
know
him,
what?
man.
Yeah, you find your students' strengths.
Yeah. So now we're at LaRusso Auto. And Sal, this scene represents everything this show gets right, honoring the Karate Kid legacy. I gotta say, this is a beautiful scene. And Daniel's with Miguel, because he's kind of taken him under his wing. He helped Carmen get her car towed, but the car was towed to LaRusso Auto, essentially. But while they're talking and talking, he's sharing some stories from the Karate Kid, popping the clutch on that station wagon that he had, because they're telling like war stories about it, how he didn't go to college, how there was the Daniel fund his mom was always putting in to Daniel fund, blew it on a ticket to Okinawa, bought it the same day, won an ice breaking contest, had more money, then blew that on a bonsai tree store. And Miguel's just taking this in because he sees how successful Daniel is, and Amanda. And look at the home they live in. And it was like easy street for Daniel, but it wasn't. It wasn't.
Well, this is also another reminder, and someone like Miguel needs to hear this, right?
Yeah.
He didn't come from money. He sees somebody successful. He has to know that they didn't come from money either, and that the American dream is indeed possible. It's not just about inheriting money and you're rich because your parents were rich. Oh, you didn't come from money, and now here you are. You have your auto empire.
Yeah, and Daniel even says, you see, my path wasn't a straight line, and yours is still being written. Wow, if Daniel didn't say it, Mr. Miyagi did. So well put. And this leads to, there's more. And Daniel goes on from there, but I want you to take it.
Daniel says, in Miyagi-Do, when an opponent comes swinging at you, you always respond in a circular motion, moving in the opposite direction of what your opponent expects, right? Life's like that too. You could reach any goal you want. It just might mean taking the circular path. Wow. Talk
And all
about
this
golden
is
nuggets here.
Yeah, he's taking this in. Miguel's taking this in. It's all resonating, much like Johnny did to Sam. It's a very interesting episode. You know, you have these, they're being the teacher, they're being the sensei, they're being a leader. It's beautiful. And you're right. It's showing Miguel there is a path. And yeah, it's like, oh, rats, I'm poor. You know, you don't have to have that mindset. You're a very special kid who's bright, and he's got great energy and charisma and, you know-how. And yeah, the whole father thing probably really takes its toll on him for sure. But look, he's got guys looking out for him now. He's got real father figures in Johnny and Daniel. Miguel's in a good place.
Yeah, he is. Now, Jason, let me bring this up. Remember Hawk calling Miguel El Serpiente?
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. What does the car need in this scene?
What does the car need?
Yeah.
A snake?
A serpentine belt. Serpiente, serpentine.
Yeah.
Intentional, accidental. I don't know. I think it's
everything's probably intentional on the show.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, good job. So now we're back on the rooftop, and Johnny's upset. So no one wants to fly. They all want to stay in the nest. And then Sam gets a text from who at 5:11 p.m.
Mm-hmm. Daniel texts Sam, and the text messages read, "Just had a great day with Miguel. How are things going at Eagle Fang?" And then he says, "Remember, do not do anything I wouldn't do." And when he says that to Sam, you see those
lit a fire underneath Sam.
Do not tell your kids that you want. And there you go. They're gonna do it. They're gonna do it.
So Sam reads that, gets up. End of the day, well, Johnny's calling it. Like, it's it. You know, we're packing it up. You know,
he said, "Grab your crap. Let's go. You all failed."
Sam gets up, and you know, before she even does it, what's in motion here, that she is going to make the jump. And of course she's going to make it. Sal. She runs, she jumps, she leaps. We've actually seen that, like, you know, a low shot of that. We weren't sure who it was. She makes the jump. She not only makes the jump, Sal, she makes it, she clears it by a ton and does a roll out of it. So it's not just a land, like a funky land. No, she's graceful.
Yeah.
Miyagi-Do training there. And she gets up, and Johnny is elated. All the other, you know, Eagle Fangers or Miyagi-Do training for Eagle Fang, they're elated. But Sal, I'm curious, does anyone else jump? Or is everyone like, "Way to go, Sam, we'll grab your bag, we'll meet you downstairs"? I doubt anyone else made the jump.
I couldn't really see Nathaniel or Dimitri jumping.
Yeah, they probably wouldn't make it. Actually.
And then there's a couple of new kids there. I don't think we've met them yet. No, I think it was just Sam. And you know what? You know what we learned about Sam? When you look back on Sam's character, she delivers under pressure, whether it be two fights with Tori, whether it be something
that
like
drinking
this
game.
Oh, how about that? Sam delivers under pressure. And I say that because some people can buckle under pressure.
Yeah.
She rises to the occasion. I'm very impressed by Sam.
Are you talking about LaRusso 2.0?
Yeah, she didn't like being called that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry, Sam. So now, Sal, we're at Silver's house.
Oh,
and this scene, there's just a lot to go over and unpack here. It's an amazing scene, and could have easily ended the episode, in my opinion.
Probably,
you know, not to dismiss the other 2 or 3 scenes after, but this just could have come at the end. But I like how they ended it, but I just felt like, wow, that's really strong.
Well, because it's very dramatic and climactic.
Exactly. So Silver's in his bathroom, and he's got some pills there and his phone and a Rolex, and it's 9:51 p.m. His phone says Tuesday, March 14th. Okay, stop you right there. Stop myself right there. Cobra Kai timelines. Okay, let's back it up a second.
Oh boy, what?
Season 3, episode 10.
Are you gonna hang on? Are you gonna go in some rabbit hole here?
Just join me. Season 3, episode 10 is entitled December 19th. It's also December 19th, 2018. Wow. That scene is happening then. Okay. If it's Tuesday, March 14th, The last time that happened was in 2017. So therefore, this is flawed. I'm sorry. Cobra Kai has a history of this. So they should have just made it Tuesday, March 12th or Thursday, March 14th, right? Simple thing, but it happens, Sal. And I have to point it out because you put it there on the screen. So,
Wow.
so there's more, but we're going to bounce around. So then, Sal, Silver's phone is blowing up. So please, what's going on there with the phone? Before
He's getting, Terry's getting multiple texts from Cheyenne Hamidi. And by the way, I just got a comment. So Cheyenne, I believe, is a Native American. I think it's a tribe of Native America. And then Hamidi, I believe, is Arabic. So her name is like Native American and Arabic. So
Good,
very diverse type of person that he's been
perfect
involved
for
with.
A mindfulness app.
And perfect for, I love the mindfulness app. But you know what? Unfortunately, by the way, I think the name is beautiful and elegant.
Beautiful
and
name.
Wonderful, wonderful. He's ghosting her. Terry Silver is ghosting Cheyenne Hamidi.
He's a different Terry Silver at this point in time.
Wow.
But let me point something out on these text messages real quick as well. There's more. The messages say Friday. You know how if you have a slew of messages, it's like there'll be a day. It's like Friday, then it's yesterday, and then it's today, right?
Yeah.
Well, since you put Friday there and yesterday and today, that would mean that today should be Sunday, not the Tuesday that the phone says. So today being Sunday would mean it's supposed to be March 17th, which is St. Patrick's Day, not Tuesday, March 14th. So not only they have the one error, and I listen, I love Cobra Kai. I love the showrunners. I love everybody. But this one little thing, maybe I should just be on set and be the gate coordinator. Excuse me. That happened 3 years ago. So yeah, that happens. And it just kind of made me write it down. I had to bring it to the attention of all of our listeners and viewers because it's right there. So,
but wait a second. Do you think that they did this intentionally or unintentionally?
I don't know. I think it's kind of Mark. Why would you make a mistake there unless it was a mistake? Why would you? Or maybe it's like, hey, catch us. Maybe that's it, and we caught him. So,
like little Easter eggs, then is what that would be.
Maybe, but I'm not sure why. Now, Sal, Silver then goes on because this scene continues. It's great.
Yeah,
and he reveals what in the mirror to us.
Oh, we see some sort of what almost looks like a country. Right? It's
right.
It's almost like a map almost, but it looks like something like a rash or he had something removed, but then it flashes to a flashback and we see a cobra tattoo on his side. And we learn there they are in a tattoo parlor.
Yep.
He's getting the cobra tattooed on his ribs.
Yeah.
And John Kreese had the tattoo on his arm.
That's the famous tattoo. Yes.
Okay, so I do think that was a weird decision. Why would he get the tattoo on his torso when his buddy partner is getting it on his arm? Wouldn't he get it maybe on the other arm? How about that?
Yeah. Well, whatever. Still a cool scene, flashback. And they're back in, the tattoo parlor back in the day. And we learn a lot of things here, Sal. I was just like, are you kidding me? We learned that Silver's got an inheritance from his father.
A business.
He wants him to take over the company. So now we know he always had money. He was going to always have money, which makes me question, Sal. He still went to the war, got drafted. Seems like Daddy Warbucks could have done something, but whatever. Maybe he wanted him to go to toughen him up. If you make it back, you can have all this. That could have happened.
Prince William, and I believe Edward too. Prince Edward and William, I think both served in the armed forces for England, I believe.
Well, this is going to Vietnam. A little different, but
no, I think they were in Iraq. I think they were in Iraq or Afghanistan.
Maybe.
I think they were.
Elvis enlisted in the army.
Oh, okay. I'm just saying some people, it's a whole honor thing, or maybe a family.
Yeah.
The dad, family legacy.
He may have been a vet in his own right. So we don't know, but we do know this about Silver.
Yeah.
It's like, wow. And they start to, go over things basically like, oh, we're going to do this thing, Well, before I get into that, what is revealed in all of its simplistic glory, Sal, this flyer, if you will.
Oh,
what appears?
Wow. There's a flyer that Kreese presents to Terry. And there's not much on there.
No.
But what's on there is huge.
Says it all.
7th annual All Valley Under 18 Karate Tournament, Saturday, December 20th. And that's it. No other info. No,
I got the year.
What?
It would have been 1975
Wow.
because of Cobra Kai timeline again.
Wow.
Season 1, episode 10, there was shirts, the All Valley shirts. The All Valley Karate Championship shirt said 50 years of karate in the Valley, 1968 to 2018. So 68 minus or plus 7 equals 1975.
Wow. Wow. Amazing.
Wow. They got that right. They got that right. I loved it. I was hoping they did. So, and of course, we know the 51st annual All Valley Karate Championships is Saturday, May 18th, 2019, still in front of us in this season.
Yes.
We're leading our
Well,
way.
yeah. In real time behind us, but in chronological show on the timeline ahead of us.
Yeah, they're behind. They're in 2019 still. So they're pre-pandemic.
Wow.
Which is good.
Oh no. I hope in season 5 they're not gonna have a bunch of masks on.
Just everyone's gonna. Some shows do it, some shows don't. So
it's a weird time.
But anyway, this is a great sequence because they're excited about this All Valley, but then essentially Silver's breaking the news to him that, he's got this other life he's got to go do. However, he's changed. And so he's conflicted here. He wants to be part of Cobra Kai. He can pay his share of the rent, if not more, but he can't physically be there, which explains a lot about the Karate Kid world. We don't see Silver in Karate Kid, the original. We don't see him in the sequel, in the very beginning sequence, that is. We only see him in the third one when Kreese reaches out. So that's the they're reuniting, but at the same time, Silver, I think they mentioned he helped bankroll initially. So all true. Very good job of tying it up, showing us what happened. And I mean, I was just floored by this scene, Sal.
Yeah. Well, also Kreese, again, with Kreese, is it manipulation? Is it actual compassion or tenderness? Kreese puts his hand on Terry Silver's neck.
Yeah.
Kreese reminds him that he didn't leave him in the war and won't leave him now. They shake hands and they do that. What was it? Predator. Yeah. Carl Weathers.
Exactly.
Arnold Schwarzenegger handshake.
All jacked up, showing the muscles. Yeah.
Cobra Kai never dies. And they both are looking at each other in the eyes as friends. And we're thinking or hoping as co-senseis, but apparently that doesn't really happen. But yes, that is the foundation of the Cobra Kai dojo right there. And I would say then Terry Silver sort of being a silent partner.
Right. But now this comes back into the modern time, back into Silver's restroom.
Yeah.
And what happens, Sal?
Oh my God, this is so good. Terry's looking at himself in the mirror. Everything Kreese has said, you could tell, is spinning around in his head. His whole life has been flashing before his eyes. All his time in Vietnam. He's been ghosting Cheyenne. He looks in the mirror. He opens up the drawer, pulls out a hair tie.
It's been there all along.
Wow. Who knows how many decades? Huh? Puts his hair back in that trademark Terry Silver ponytail. And then he looks at himself and he's got a look of satisfaction.
Yeah.
As he looks at himself, like in other words, it's like a reawakening, like a rebirth.
Yeah. Who's Cheyenne?
Who?
He's moved on.
Yeah.
Mindfulness app. This Terry Silver's not into that. He's back, baby.
But
that's why
I think.
Yeah, go on.
I want to ask you, do you know this music? I'm loving this. Is this the show score, or is this
I believe so. I believe so. I have to go back. I was so thrown off by both times I've seen this scene. I was just like caught up in it. I just wanted to see like the logo come on and the
like they could have done it there. Sure.
That's why I felt like, and they probably toyed with that in the editing bay. Like, well, we got these other things. We want to end on a softer note, but or not a softer note, how it does end, which we'll get to. All good, no wrong choices. But I just love this sequence.
Well, you know what? I love choices. Whoever, you make the choice, and here we are. We got to live with it.
Yeah, we have to discuss it. It's our job. So now we're back at Johnny's apartment, and Sal. Well, he's not even in his apartment yet, but he follows his own playbook. He makes a move for Carmen.
He does. And let me just clarify, Jason, the address here is 18555. That's 5 digits versus Kenny's fake address of the 1623 or wherever.
Oh yeah, we see this address a lot. This is the receipt.
So but there you go. But this is an example, 5-digit addresses in the San Fernando Valley as opposed to the 4-digit addresses. But yeah, Johnny gets one of those moments, compelling moments where he decides to he narrates himself in his own head. Isn't that
Yeah.
that pretty funny?
So good. Well, he just did this with Sam. You can't just preach it, not practice it, right? So he walks over there, knocks on the door. Miguel's not home, doesn't even want to see Miguel, wants to talk to Carmen. I was actually glad she answered, not Rosa or Miguel, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And, he kind of lays it all on the line, and I'll let you take over what happens. But I do love the fact, Sal, when he says he's a top down, hair blowing in the wind kind of guy. I mean, that said it all for me. That is Johnny. He said more, but I laughed so hard on that. And again, Carmen's trying to be like, no, now's not a good time. And you hope to God that a guy's not there, right? You're hoping that's not the case, but it's not the case because Sal, who is there?
That did come across my mind that she's gonna have a date, because remember at this point,
they're taking
officially
step back.
There we go, officially. But that reminded me that little monologue by Johnny kind of reminded me of the Pee Wee Herman monologue. What do you say? I'm a loner, Dottie, a rebel.
So good. So good.
Johnny looks over and Rosa, abuelita, is having some sort of gathering, like her friends. They're
playing
tea,
cards,
I guess.
or pinochle or something.
Is that what they're doing? They're playing some sort of game?
She had cards in her hand. So.
Okay.
But it's like three friends and Rosa.
Yeah. And Johnny says, hola. And they all say hola back. Well, you know what? He expresses his feelings for Carmen right there in her doorway.
Yeah. Yep.
And he says, what do you say? I'm ready to take a chance.
Yeah.
Or take the leap. What did you say? It's like a leap of faith.
Yeah, he's in, and he doesn't care if they can hear it. And if they can't understand, maybe she could translate it. He just lays it on the line. And you know what? Carmen takes it in. And what does she do, Sal?
She says, yes.
Nice.
Right. And then they kiss each other. And then one of the other ladies asks if Johnny has an older brother.
Yeah, he's cute. Does he have an older brother? So good. Great sequence. Yeah. I'm so happy it went that way. It's like, I want to see these things happen. I don't want a whole bunch of almost. I need some payoff here. And I love that.
There's a lot to be said for strike first.
Mm-hmm. So now we're back, our pre-strike. So now we're back at Cobra Kai, and Kyler takes someone down, and then Kenny re-enters. He's back. And Kreese has him lined back up against Kyler.
Well, might as well, right? But unfortunately, Kenny runs off the mat. Yep. Kenny runs off the mat again. It's just deja vu all over again.
He does. But Sal, Robby's lesson, I don't know how many lessons he had, probably one, begins to pay off. And what happens?
Well, on the street, would you call this a sucker punch? Kyler wasn't expecting this, right? He was looked the other way.
True.
Kelly
was far away. He wasn't standing right there. He was far off the mat from him.
Yeah. Kenny very quickly punches Kyler. And it happened so fast. Robby and Tori react, and Tori even says, he's fast.
He's fast. That's Kenny the Jet 99. I know
yeah. And Kenny thinks that now he's ruined his opportunity.
Yeah,
to be a member of Cobra Kai, so he's ready to just hightail it out of there. Well, everything's messed even worse now,
Right. Yeah.
But then Kreese says, "Take your spot."
Yeah, it may not be a point, but you're accepted in Cobra Kai dojo. Like
you know why?
Style,
you know
Sal.
why? You know why?
Why is that?
Killer instinct.
Killer instinct. I know. I was waiting for you to say it.
Wow.
Good job. Well done, Kenny. I guess he's in Cobra Kai now. He's found a tribe.
Wow. He has backup now and support.
Yeah,
which
now
is
he's
important.
got backup.
That's important.
So now we're back at Miyagi-Do, back to the koi pond. And Mitch, I love this, references hillbilly hand fishing, which I haven't seen that show, but I will say this, Sal, years and years before that, like decades ago, I knew of this movie called Okie Noodling.
Oh.
And it was a contest. It was a catfish hand fishing contest. A documentary, did very well. I played it at one of the festivals. There was a sequel, Okie Noodling 2. So we were talking about this way back in the day. Now, I'm from Oklahoma. I did not partake in hand fishing. Well, they would just go in, the tournaments and stick their hand down in crevices underneath things and just come up with catfish or snakes or beavers could be down there.
What?
So
Beavers?
yeah, or some guys go out, and if they're not with other people, can go down and get trapped underneath something and drown. And usually they wait for like a rainstorm to go in an area that's got catfish where they're not used to being. So it's not all fun and glory. It's not always in a koi pond. It is a legit thing. And I have a lot of respect for anybody who's brave enough to go okie noodling. So hillbilly hand fishing was pretty funny. Have to check out the show at some point in time. But Sal, Miguel takes Daniel's advice from the garage, right circle, left circle. And what happens?
Miguel realizes that he should be actually in the pond. And he
tried to do that initially, but
well, no, he fell in because he was wet behind the ear, right?
Yeah.
But now he gets in. And by the way, he calls others in, so they all get in. Why is everybody leaving all their clothes on? I mean, you think you would at least take your hoodie off,
or your shoes.
Okay, but everybody's getting in fully clothed, hoodies and all. They start to kind of, what are they kind of doing? Like walking with the fish, like the fish themselves are kind of going in a circle. And now the students are now with the fish going in a circle, right?
And they start to get trapped underneath the platform because they don't know where to go. They can't go any which way but loose. And so they get, if you trap them underneath the platform, you can just grab them.
Yeah,
now, I don't know if Daniel had the foresight to put this in motion and thinking that we'll do this koi pond thing. The only way to get them is a circuit. I don't know. If he's that many steps ahead, good on Daniel. But whatever it is, Miguel grabs a fish.
Yeah, he comes up with a fish. And by the way, I wanted to see, does Miguel put the fish back, right? That's not a fish that you take out and eat. No, right? You got to put it back.
You got to put him right back.
Oh, okay, that's a catch and release. Okay, good.
And since Miguel wins, he gets to what? Run class, do some lessons. And I believe there's go ahead. If you
wait, no, he doesn't just get to run the class for a week.
No, it's much bigger.
Nobody seems excited about
that. That sucks.
But you get to choose the Gatorade flavor.
What? Yeah, game changer for this age group. Nice. Yeah, I'm sure I would have been the same way.
Oh my God.
So now, still at Miyagi-Do, but the Eagle Fang van arrives, and Johnny and Sam connect because they're on the front. This is in the front. Miguel and everyone else, Daniel's are in the back. And as you know, Johnny's feeling pretty good about how the class went, the lesson. He tries to give some inspiring speech, but Sam's just like, we understand. And they do respect him, especially her. And she's the leader of that group for sure.
I think she is, yeah.
But when they come around the back, Sal, please explain what we see.
Oh, I felt so bad for Johnny here. But Daniel and Miguel are standing on the deck in front of other students. Daniel puts the Miyagi-Do headband on Miguel.
A new one, because he has one on.
Yeah, he has one too. So they have matching Miyagi-Do headbands.
Doesn't help Johnny at all.
Oh, Daniel says, Mr. Miyagi once told me that this represents perseverance, courage, and strength.
Yeah.
And right there, Johnny sees this ceremony. It's sort of a ceremony, small ceremony.
Yeah.
And then Daniel and Miguel bow to each other, and Johnny mumbles to himself, "What the hell?"
Yeah, he just sees from a distance, Daniel up on stage with Miguel bowing, and as if like, this is my prize student. He's underneath my tutelage and my wing. It's like Johnny's kind of surrogate son, and he's a little bothered by it. Now, meanwhile, he just had this bonding with Sam, but Johnny doesn't see it that way.
No.
And end of the episode. So it is a really good ending because it just a little bit of a cliffhanger. But
it's not the same as Silver with the ponytail. It's not the same ending.
No,
but it's still a good ending. But you know what I had images of? Do you remember when Robby went to Cobra Kai dojo at Reseda Flats to see Johnny, and then he sees Johnny hugging Miguel?
Exactly, giving him the gi.
Yes.
Yeah, and from the parking lot on a skateboard. Absolutely. Wow. Yeah, it's very much like that. History repeats itself, Sal, especially on this show.
Wow.
So I was thinking as it ended, because I kept thinking about endings this particular episode. So I was like, that would have been a good ending, and this would too. I am very happy and thankful that this is not the type of show that quickly, right after the logo and maybe a couple credits, immediately wants to show me scenes from the next episode. Because I don't want that. I always pause it or stop that. Netflix probably doesn't do it because you can just go to the next episode, right? I understand how Showtime and HBO like to tease you to come back, but I'm always trying to catch my breath after a show. And it's like, Oh man, so I am happy for that. We don't have to hurry up and like hit pause, so I can let the
yeah.
music play, let the scene overwhelm me, and just try to get ready for the next one if I'm going to be in binge mode. But anyway, small point.
Wow. I'm overwhelmed. You know what? I even
You
forget.
are overwhelmed.
I forget what happens next. I'm so wrapped up in where we are right now.
Well, we have to go deep dive in our notes for the next episode. We have episode 4 awaits us, Sal.
Well,
what a great episode. So much fun to break this one down.
Heavy duty.
Characters are changing. Things are happening. Silver's evolving. The dojos are getting stronger. Kenny's a new recruit for Cobra Kai. Will he be a factor? A lot is happening.
A lot is happening. Yeah. Big time stuff happening. Very excited to be here.
So that's all I got until next week, my friend.
I have one more thing, Jason.
Please.
I want to remind all of our viewers and listeners to check out the Salvador Los Angeles YouTube channel, where I just uploaded a new video, The Adventures of Daniel and Johnny, Volume 2, more of the same.
Oh, yes.
The previous video had Daniel and Johnny in the rocks of Sedona, Arizona, fighting Predator.
Right.
And in this trailer, motion picture, they have a new adversary also happening in the Red Rocks of Sedona, which I absolutely love. And the special treat is that I do the voice of Daniellarusso, and Jason does the voice of Johnny Lawrence and the voice of their adversary. So that's a special treat.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Check it out. I'm
make
glad
sure
you
you
remembered to bring that up, Sal. Well done. Very funny.
Yep.
Edited super tightly. Did a great job. It's really, really good. And I like the shorter things because it just makes you want to watch it again.
Yeah. It's just a hint. It's just a taste.
Tease.
And it makes it a little bit easier and more palatable for me to want to do another one, because these are rather involved. So check out the Salvador Los Angeles, that's all one word, Salvador Los Angeles YouTube channel, and look for more Cobra Kai Karate Kid content, all in the name of Let's Talk Cobra Kai.
Well done. And now a word from our sponsor before we sign off, Sal.
I'm ready.
Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped.
And get 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code Cobra Kai at manscaped.com.
So thank you so much for listening. And please be sure to subscribe to the Let's Talk Cobra Kai podcast, as well as the Let's Talk Cobra Kai YouTube live channel. You can also really help us by giving the show a 5-star rating on Apple Podcast.
And for all you listeners that enjoy sharing your thoughts, you can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, send us a direct message, or post a comment on any Let's Talk Cobra Kai social media platform.
If you're a dedicated listener or viewer of Let's Talk Cobra Kai, please consider supporting the show on Patreon. We also highly recommend checking out our other podcast and visiting justcuriousmedia.com.
No mercy.
Great job.